everybody, what's up? Video Rod episode 83. Aaron here, Todd in the house.
Riverman.
Riverman,
Hey.
sorry. I still call him by his Christian name on occasion. Somebody has to.
I don't go by it. I changed it on my birth certificate.
Yeah, that's funny. Is it going to be on your tombstone?
Yeah.
All right. Here lies Riverman. Then
No one knows.
Everybody's going to think you're that guy from Return of the Living Dead 3, man. They're going to really get it confused.
Or the Green River Killer.
Do you ever forget that that's where that name came from?
No.
I do.
Really?
Sometimes, to me, you're synonymous with it now. And I totally forget about it. Like I watched the movie when the Veteran came out a couple years back, and that was the first time I'd seen it in quite a while. And I was like, oh yeah, that's Riverman. I forgot, because it's like, yeah, I feel like you've got more mileage with it than the guy in that movie ever did. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So want to welcome everybody to this week's chat. I am exhausted. Just full disclosure, dude. My job, like half our team at work quit this week.
Really?
So,
Why?
Yeah. Dude, we've just been on a decline of morale the last, I'd say 3 years. I've worked at my company for 8, and the first 5 years were awesome. And then somewhere in the pandemic, the P word, it wasn't so much that period of time that did it, because we were still open for business, but that was the start of it. Like after the first year into that, we got a new director of the department, we got new leadership, and they just cleaned house and they just changed everything. They came in, they started becoming hard asses for no reason, because, most of us were remote and, pretty self-sufficient. Like we never had any micromanaging at all.
Yeah.
Why? It's like we know what we got to do. As long as we're getting our stuff done, when we get it done, we had super flexibility. It was amazing. It was a dream gig. And then all of a sudden, these people come in from outside of the company that have something to prove. Everybody wants to do that. You hire a new leadership, they come in, they got to be like, well, I got to make sure that I'm giving them something for their money. Like they hired me, I have to make an impression. And they got to like fix something that's not broke. And they just came in. Yeah. And they just brought in all this corporate micromanaging bullshit for no reason. Like why? And so over time, over the last few years, it's gotten tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter with each quarter. Like they're implementing more and more and more. So what used to be a gig where literally you kind of just make your own hours and you just do it, just get your stuff done. Yeah. You have a list of stuff. Everything's kind of on a time schedule. Just get your stuff done. It doesn't matter. Just get it done and we're cool. And as long as you're getting your stuff done, you're meeting your marks, and you're meeting your deadlines, which isn't hard. Everybody stays off your back. It's an amazing thing, because we were a small team. But now all of a sudden, a few years later, now we're micromanaged. We have to like follow we have adherence now. Now we don't have the flexibility. We have to be at certain places at certain times to log in this stupid system for no reason.
Oh.
Yeah, every time if you're going on a break, you have to log it in and code it. You have to code it when you come back, and then your schedule. And you have to put it in this like stupid internal schedule that the company uses for some departments. And then you got to make sure that your login tool and your log out tool matches the fucking schedule to a T, or your adherence is gonna be. It's like, what the fuck happened?
That is ridiculous.
And you kind of, now we're used to it. I'm used to it. It's whatever. I mean, it's still what, but that. So now everybody's like under a hardcore microscope. I don't leave I don't leave webcams plugged in, because I don't put it past the company to fucking start recording people. Yeah. And it's like, dude, I'm sure there's people that take advantage of it, but like for the people that don't, this is the beauty of the job. Mm-hmm. If you have to take a shit, go take a shit.
Yeah.
Don't fucking, have to fucking log out and say, I got to code this because I got to take a shit. And then I got to put it in my schedule too. I can't just log out under a right code. I got to log out under a certain code. I got to notate it. Then I have to plug it into the fucking schedule, and they have to sync. It's like, what it's so much trouble. It makes no sense.
What if you worked in office though? Would it be the same or what?
Yeah.
You would have to code like taking a piss break.
Yeah. And I'm sure that there's people, I mean, I
That's
don't,
ridiculous.
I don't, I fucking don't. Fuck them. I don't. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I'm not going as far as they want me to, but the next step will be some sort of like remote. They'll be able to know what you're doing, right? the technology exists for somebody to be able to log in and see what you're doing and see what your
Yeah.
activity. They're gonna, if they really want to take it that far, which that's where we're going. It will get to the point where it probably will be that strict. And that's when I will 100% quit, because it's like, dude, I don't want people watching me. It's not that
Yeah.
I'm not doing my work. I'm doing my work, but you try having a fucking something staring at you and monitoring your every fucking move. I don't.
Micromanaging. No, I
I
can't deal with that shit
it
either.
makes you suffocate. So, anyway, I'm dealing with it, but and that's not even all of it. It's like, okay, I'll tolerate it as long as I have to, as long as the hours are still there. We're still getting like overtime opportunities, our bonuses, whatever. I got to make the paycheck, because it's not like I can go to another company and make any more right now, because that's not the way it goes. The era of the company man is dead. I think I've talked about this. This is why people have to turn and burn a new job, a new employer every 2 years, because that's your only hope in getting more money, is to maybe find another employer and maybe negotiate a higher salary than what
Yeah.
you're leaving. That's it. And that's why everybody's just flipping jobs every 2 years, because the company you're with, they're not going to pay you more. Especially,
Especially inflation cost,
no.
cost of living, all that
And
shit.
the thing is the bar is always moving. I don't have to tell people this. Obviously, inflation's a thing. It's natural. But the bar moved so freaking far in the last couple of years that it's just unsustainable. And these guys aren't, the banks and whoever it is you work for, the corporate gigs, they're not going to take care of you, and you're still going to be stuck making the same wage you made. They're going to give you your 2 or 3% or whatever it is you get annually. And
Inflation says like 7%.
but it's dude,
Ridiculous.
it's the cost of groceries,
Yeah.
it's utilities going up, it's the store, to the tip, your home evaluation, and your the property tax on your home, that kind of goes up average 5% every year. It's like everything's just, it's stopped, dude. They can fuck off with their 2 or 3%.
Yeah.
And during the pandemic, they kept the management thing was department wide. That was like fucking us up department wide. But then the company as a whole, we deal with a lot of stuff, but the company as a whole, they started doing their stuff with that whole thing, taking advantage of the pandemic, and they having no reason to, because we never were out of commission. We were always working. So
Yeah.
they were making their money, but they kept making all these excuses year after year. For the last 3 years, man, our bonuses kept getting slashed a little bit more, a little bit
Mhm.
more, a little bit more. And then they try and mask it with, okay, hey, we're going to change the bonus metric. So now the maximum you guys can, it used to be they grade the company as a whole. Not departments, not whatever, not your, just the company as a whole, and they have certain metrics. And then they grade the company as a whole, and based on those grades, they'll give you the maximum percentage of your bonus, right? You're probably familiar with the sort of structure.
Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that's the way it used to be. Somewhere in the pandemic, they were like, okay, we're doing this new thing. We're going to help it. They tried to mask a lot of stuff as like helping you guys, but it wasn't. Because if you did the math, I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. This is a terrible deal. They were like, okay, so we know times are tough. We're going to give everybody a 5% raise. And they did. They gave everybody a 5% incentive, but they slashed our bonus cap in half. And if you did the math, I'm like, this is a fucking terrible deal.
Yeah.
It was a terrible deal. Like, we were losing money. And the year end says everything. It's like, okay, great. You guys, the goodness gracious of your heart, because of the pandemic, you gave everybody 5% raise because of inflation. But we are all making at least 5 to 10 grand less a year. I mean, because it's a percentage of what you make, whatever. So I'm like, fuck off. And they would do that shit all the time. And then last year they incorporated a new thing where, okay, so now your personal performance is going to come into play, not even a company-wide thing. So there's going to be the company score that you're used to, River.
Yeah.
But then we're going to find out what you guys can make max off the new cap, which is half of what it used to be. And then whatever that is, that's now the measuring stick. Then we're going to go to your individual performance. Your managers are going to talk to you. And that's where it goes into we always got like the normal cost of living eval every year, where are you going to get 2%, are you going to get 3%, whatever you're going to
Yeah.
get. They're going to now link your bonus to that. So whenever you get your like 2 or 3 or whatever percent every year, they slide you into one of 3 categories. There's like not meeting standard, that's meeting expectations, and there's exceeding expectations. And anyway, so first of all, it's a conspiracy. It's impossible to get exceeding expectations.
Nobody ever does that.
It's impossible. It's impossible. It is literally
because they
impossible.
only get a certain allotment. Each manager
Exactly.
gets a certain allotment of
Exactly.
bonus money.
They get a certain allotment, and then yeah, it's just impossible.
Mhm.
So anyway, regardless, so most people, if you're doing your job, you're going to fall into the middle category, which is 3%. Well, now they're taking that bonus, which is no longer like 12% cap. It's now like a 6% cap or whatever. Maybe that's not correct, but 6%. And then maybe the company performed under that max. So maybe the max you can get is 5 or 4. And now they're going to look at you. Oh, did you get exceptional or did you get meeting? Oh, you got meeting. Well, now you can only get 75% of the company max. It's like, what in the actual fuck, dude? It's been real. My bonus is a third. It is a
Oh,
third
yeah.
of what it always was. It's a third. And anyway, so it's just that kind of bullshit. It's just how much can you take? How much can you take? And it's
We used
all a
to get
bunch.
we used to get 100% quarterly bonuses, and now we get, annual bonuses and, like, 80%.
Yeah, it's all a big ruse. And you know, they can make any excuses they want about pandemic and inflation, but the companies that I work at, I work for a bank, a financial institution dealing with insurance, banking, mortgages. They were never put out by the fucking pandemic. And as far as inflation, they are passing those inflated costs down to the bank members.
Yeah.
So the bank is getting their nut, but they're not trickling it down to the employees. They're keeping everybody at the same while they're charging people more, and it's fucked up. And this is it all comes down to greed.
Well, pad their pockets, I know. They don't give a
It
shit about the
all comes
employees.
down to greed, man. And the people at the top, the fat cats, they are totally cool with pushing the bar and pushing this new normal, which is, you know, if you are making $50,000 to $80,000 a year, even $90,000 a year, if you're making what used to be a comfortable middle class living as a
Yeah.
single person, not accounting for a couple, the new norm is the job that you've been tenured at for 10 years, 15 years. The new normal is going to be you are going to be now the class that has to work Target at the weekends, work at a Target, 10 bar on the weekends, and hold down 2 jobs. It's no longer the lower class. So essentially wiping out the middle class. There is no middle class anymore. And it's not going to go back. I could piss
No,
and
and that's what people don't understand. These $5 dozen eggs, it's not gonna go lower. Like, it only gets higher every year. So,
it,
I mean,
yeah,
inflation is not no
I
joke, man.
and greed. Like I
Yeah.
said, even if they could afford to go back, if these costs do go down, because it all comes down from fuel, it's all gas, right?
Yeah.
Everything is attached to gas. You know, your concert tickets go up, your groceries go up. It all has to get delivered. It's all fuel. It's everything. Everything is the gas. So even when fuel prices do come down, the companies have already set a new bar of what they can charge you and what we're paying. Even if you could argue that we're forced to fucking pay it, and it'll never go back. It will
Oh,
never go back. So that bar is permanently moved. You think your bags of Doritos are going to get bigger and filled with any less air? No, they're
no.
not. Dude, the bags of Doritos now, they are just they're the chips in them are basically the size of the ones you'd get in the vending machines at high school. And then they shrank the bags about in half, but then they filled it with all this air. And then, dude, the chips actually are like a quarter at the quarter mark.
Buy
It's
a
like,
bag of Sun Chips. My kids love Sun Chips, man, and it's like
it.
a quarter. It's ridiculous, and the bag's even smaller.
And so I could piss and moan about it all day long till the cows come home, but I have to accept that this is the new normal. So all I can do is try and make my exit strategy. Dude, I'm not trying to be this guy. Dude, I've become this guy. I've become this fucking guy that is just like shitting on the man. I've become anti-capitalist. I've become more conservative, more liberal minded with it because it's ridiculous. Because I, I just they're going to keep you down. The system is designed to keep you sweating and keep you working. And you know, even if you're just skirting by, like me, you know, what else am I going to do? What am I going to do? I can't get a job. If I go to a rival company, you know, they're still stuck paying the same fucking starting salaries as 8 years ago when I started the current place. So I would actually be taking a bit of a hit. I'd be taking easily a 10% hit because I'd, you know, miss out on all the incentive. It's like, so they're like, oh, well, you're not making enough money. Well, you could get 2 jobs. Nobody wants to do that. But, oh, we have your insurance. Oh, your precious insurance. If you want health care for your kids or your wives or whatever, you better, because that's where they fucking get you, man, is
Then
your
you gotta pay
employers.
double the taxes. Yeah.
Dude, your employer, it's like, yeah, it makes you think twice about doing something crazy. Like, man, fuck this. I'm going to go start a business of my own, or I'm going to go work these less stressful side hustles. But it's like, what about the fucking insurance? Because private insurance is so expensive. So I just think it's designed to hook you. And the only people that are making it, money follows money. You either have to come from money, or you just have to put your balls out there and take a risk.
It's the one percenters.
You got to put your balls out there, take a risk, and just fucking Hail Mary it and say fuck it. I'm going for broke. I'm going to start my own business, and I'm going to sink or swim, and maybe you'll get lucky doing that. But just, you know, did you know they charge you know how much contractors are taxed?
No.
I got a buddy. He's a total contractor. He's a DP, right? And he's a contractor. You hire him for whatever commercial work. He'll do it. He gets taxed. I think it's 35%.
Oh my god.
And he's like, and he's one of these guys where it's like, dude, I don't make a lot of money, but I'm making more money. I'm growing my personal business. But it's like the government hates my type of people. They hate us because we're skirting it. We're doing our own thing, and they want to keep us down by charging us so much fucking tax. But you know, you just got to keep fighting the good fight, I guess. But it's really fucked up.
That's why you should need to get your own landscaping business, because I mean, there's millions of people that are skirting that.
Yeah, cash.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like that. I hate that. But yeah, our landscape guy, I do pay cash because he's proven to be good and reliable. So it's like, yeah, I'll just fucking sell him or whatever. But you know, he's an illegal.
Yeah.
It's fucking illegal, and it's what are you gonna do, man? At this point, yeah, I'd rather buy American. I'd rather pay a guy that's taking credit cards and is verified and he's got a business. But at the end of the day, these guys are charging so much money because everybody's trying to pass the costs on to somebody else. That's just the nature of it. And the people at the bottom are hurting. So, and that's just the nature of it. You know, that guy, the guy with the landscaping business, he's got costs rising on him. So he's going to pass it down on to me and you. We don't own businesses. So who are we going to pass the cost down to? Nobody.
Next, the IRS is going to come after you for having a garage sale. They're going to start taxing you. Where's my fucking money? Speaking of money, Silhouette dropped some super chats.
Couple. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. What's up, Mo Lester? Silhouette. When's my birthday? My birthday is September 22nd. Yeah, Silhouette, thank you so much for the $5, man. That helps out a lot in our time of grievance. I know we're like complaining about this. Did you see the GTA developer fired two-thirds of their staff so the billionaire CEO could afford his bonus? So evil. These folks jack off to homelessness. It's ridiculous, man.
Sick, man.
You think it's like haven't these guys seen a movie before? It's like the whole Dark Knight thing. Like you live long enough to become the villain. Like even if you become that guy and you are on top and you have so much money, you have to you would think you would still have perspective. Like especially if you used to be at a certain level, it's like, look, I know how this works. Like I can't, but everybody becomes corrupt. Everybody becomes so deluded once you have this lifestyle. Like I got to maintain my lifestyle. I want my money. And it's just, dude, I feel like I'm old enough where if I did get lucky to where I got ahead in life and I became a 1%er, it's at a point now where I'm middle aged and hopefully I would fucking have my head beneath the clouds and be like, all right, we got to do this right because it's fucked up. To a degree, it makes sense. It's a thing, man. But like, it all comes down to, it's just a game of like dogpile. It's like, what's the game I'm thinking of? It's like, what's that fucking game people used to play? Like, you know, whose hand ends up on top.
Oh,
but like, so if I own a business, all my expenses, I get it, dude. Like maybe I have to charge $1 more for my product because maybe it's costing more from this manufacturer to send me this, and it is what it is. But if I got to make those ends meet, then I have to sprinkle it down to my employees. And then because the people that don't own business and they just work for people, these people just the collar jobs, they have nobody to pass it down to. They're at the bottom. And it's just shitty. So even if like I'm not making me and Todd aren't making like $20,000 a year or anything, you know, we're still keeping the roof over our head by the skin of my teeth. But let me tell you, still, I think we're at a disadvantage because we are still slaves to a system.
Middle class.
We're still slaves to a system, and we have nobody to pass these costs down to. Like everybody above us does. And so, yeah, dude, I have made this the year of George. This is the year where I've committed. I'm breaking out, dude. I'm finding something. I've got 2 ideas. I've got one business idea that is a little bit more go for broke, like, okay, this is a real business. And I got another one that's a more, okay, I could grow with this and maybe keep my job while the other one's growing, start as a side hustle. And I got to figure something out, right?
I I heard a crazy statistic. So, like, a third of the money that we sent over to Ukraine could have
Uh,
cured homelessness. Like, it could have helped out all the homeless people in the United States. A third of that money, billions. It's crazy to think about. We could have solved the homelessness problem.
I'm not trying to get all political, but I know nobody wants to hear that. But dude, I've said it. Get rid of fucking income tax. I think we can afford it with how much money our government misappropriates and how much our military just fucking loses or blows, and just
Yeah,
like the amount of money that is just so, it's like a billionaire, right? So the government has all this money at their disposal. Elon Musk, he could fart and pay off all of our mortgage listening to this chat right now.
yeah.
Right? If he just wanted to have, like, if you count him on a good day, if he wants to, he could just twitch his nose and pay and make everybody's life like turned around. And so I think that's the way the government is, dude. They just fucking throw money. Like, oh, you need $500 billion. Fine, here you go. I know people have to sign stuff and they have to, but it's just they're so willy nilly with such huge amounts of money that even our government, their fucking heads are above the clouds. They don't realize what that money could do to each individual household.
Well, it's not their money; it's our money.
It's
So
our
they
money.
don't give a fuck.
It's our money. It's absolute ass. And the whole time we've got the fucking Senate and everybody fucking just gaming the stock market
Yep,
and
yep.
fucking just making fat stacks while the poor people just fucking lose, dude. I mean, it's a tale as old as time. Money follows money, right? The rich get richer, and by proxy of that, the poor are kept downtrodden. So people really just, I don't know. Not everybody can be an entrepreneur. Not everybody can break the system, but unfortunately, 99% of people are just going to accept the new standard of life, and you're going to have more and more people our age just working 2 jobs, and because they want to work, they want to take away your social security, they want to raise the retirement age, and they want to see to it that now, even if you've built a life, like, dude, about 10 years ago, I thought I was finally making strides. It's like I'm a homeowner. I'm now working a certain job. I got benefits. I don't have to work 2 jobs anymore. Now they just kicked me in the nuts. And it's like, are you telling me that now I'm looking at a situation where I'll have to fucking work 2 jobs? Fuck you. I don't want to go back to that shit. Most people are going to just have to accept that. And I just don't want to. I fucking refuse. And I don't want to work 2 jobs. Dude,
No,
if
no, I'm
I
not either.
if I had to work more, I would literally, I don't want to say this because I don't want to get demonetized, but I would do terrible things to myself because, dude, it's already hard enough. The whole mantra of live to work versus working to live thing. And, it's, why would we do that? When you have 2 jobs, you literally can't enjoy your life.
Yep.
You literally can't enjoy your life. So why are we doing it? Unless you have kids, where I get it, it's like, well, I got the ultimate sacrifice, but I don't have kids right now, but I want kids. I think it's unfair too because you got people my age that aren't having kids because we can't afford it and we're kind of scared and stuff like that. And
I
uh,
actually feel more bad, like, for, like, I mean, it sucks for us, but I mean, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they're fucked. I
yeah,
mean,
well,
they are fucked.
it's going to be the next one that really hurts for sure. I think it'll somewhere along the line there'll be some correction. I'm sure. Who knows what that'll be, but what
I
is it
mean,
that?
mortgage rates went up 7.8%. I was looking at houses and I'm like, well, that was quick.
Oh, because you were talking to me about talking to a builder. Is that not on the table anymore?
No, I was just looking around and then I was going over interest rates. They jumped from 7.2 to 7.8. I'm like, no.
That's
So
ridiculous. I mean, like I said, if you can afford paying that premium for a short time, just bank on it going because it has to come down. It has to come down eventually. Um, you can always refi, but yeah, it's just a fucking it's a game. It's rolling the dice.
yeah.
You aren't like a renter though. You at least have your house.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the only thing you're losing out by waiting is what if your house is, if you just want a bigger place or whatever the case is, that's not, you're still building equity.
Yeah.
It's more about the renters, dude. Those people are like,
Oh, I know. I feel terrible for him,
it's
man.
like, dude, yeah, I don't know. It's like, do I keep paying $2,000 a month for my apartment, knowing it's going to go up to like 2,200 next year, or do I roll the dice and just fucking eat 8% interest if I can afford to save up money? Because you have a lot of these people in the last few years that were saving and that were buying homes, and they were in escrow, and when it came time to actually close on the fucking bitch, they were outpriced. They were priced out of the house because interest rates just skyrocketed.
Mhm.
I know a guy. I worked with a guy that was having a house built,
Yeah.
and then when they finished the house and they were going to go close, it was just, they were priced out. The interest rates were so high, the bank could no longer approve the
That's
loan because
crazy,
it
man.
just
I
it
would
just
be so devastated.
yeah, and it's, yeah, talk about a kid. That's why I'm trying not to complain too much, because I have some wins under my belt.
Oh, yeah.
But like, it's just, I feel like the man is constantly kicking everybody in the nuts, dude. I can only imagine if you're this guy I'm talking about, where a big kick in the
Oh,
nuts, kick
yeah.
in the nuts. And then he ended up having a kid like right after, so it's like,
Oh,
oh, dude, yeah. So I guess it's good that we're all in it together, but because most of us represent the class that's affected, I'm assuming there's not a lot of one percenters in here, but I'm not against people with a lot of money, man, but just, I don't know. It's just got to be done right, and I think people have way too much money and way too much. Wait, did I say that? Way much, whatever. And I'm trying not to be bitter about it,
you
man.
can't take care of your fellow man sometimes, man.
I am just going to, yeah, but greed corrupts everybody. It just corrupts everybody. It gets to the better of everybody. I'll eat my words. If I ever win the lottery or I get mine somehow, somebody fucking call out this video and be like, "Oh, look at you, Aaron. Look at you. Remember this video that goes to Chris's past. Make good." I will, dude. I am the guy that will do. I don't need a lot. I really don't. Um,
I
and actually,
donate. I donate all the time to people, though. I mean, I don't donate to causes, but I donate to people.
I don't need a lot. It's sad that like the things that I think should just be should be just normal things people should be able to enjoy are all I'm striving for, and I think they're seen as luxuries now. Look, I don't want a lot. I would love to have my house paid off, and I would like to have enough disposable income to take trips when we want to take a trip. I don't want to not work. I'm cool with working, but I'd like to just not have to worry about the bills. Of course, I just don't want to worry about the bills, and I want to be able to go on vacations once or twice a year. That'd be amazing, man. So I can
Yeah,
actually
right. You can look at that.
enjoy my fucking life, right? Because I
I won't
mean,
do that.
I'm at my best when I have stuff to look forward to. You give me a couple of things in a year, like something in the midway point, something to look forward to, I'm good. But dude, when you have nothing on the bracket for the whole year, and like because funds are tight, it's kind of bleak. It's a little
Oh yeah.
depressing because you
Tell
get
me
like
about it.
stuck in a rut and you got to find, like, that's not a lot to ask, dude. For somebody, you want people to work 80 hours a week to fucking make rich assholes richer, and you think it's too much to just ask for health care and ask for vacation and ask for,
Wait till you
work.
have kids. You won't be going on any vacations. I'll tell you that.
Dude, you're fucking telling, we have, I can't really, oh, I cannot afford it, but I have to take my wife on a honeymoon trip next year. I wanted to do it this year, but it just wasn't in the cards with how the last year went, especially with taxes raping our asses. Seriously, taxes
Mm.
rape my asses. It's like, there goes. Like, dude, how much money I had to pay extra last year was what I would have paid towards this trip. And then
Oh
I
yeah.
got hit with it again this year, and it's just not going to get better. I just think it's the new normal, man. So I'm preparing for it, and but whether I can afford it or not, I feel like next year is our last opportunity before we have to start really considering the kid thing. And I want to take her to Japan. It's going to cost like 4 or 5 grand, and at this point, they want to keep me fucking in the hole. Whatever. I'm gonna at least get a trip out of it and fucking give that to her and fucking come home and just fucking add a couple more years on the fucking the paying off. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, at what point do I just fucking say fuck it? I have to live life to a degree, man, because it's like I got to make other people happy too, right? Um,
Yeah, that's a good point. I need to start living that way too, because
but you
I'm
have to
so
gauge.
stingy when it comes to everything.
No, you have to gauge it. Obviously, you can't get crazy with that. But like I didn't do it this year. But like we were talking about it. I'm like, look, because we talk and we have our like plan of like, okay, when are we going to start, like if kids are in the picture, and by according to that plan, which believe me already is tough enough for me to push the line back as far as I did. I'm like, look, it's not because I don't want this, it's because of money and the fucking economy. Like, I know, and you don't want to play that game because you can play that game forever. And I literally said, look, I just want until this, give me until this time, and that gives me enough time to get this shit in order, and then we can attack that. But anyway, according to these quote unquote plans, this trip would have to happen next year. And at this point, it's like, well, even if I got to throw it on a fucking credit card and just pay that bitch off, it's better than not being able to take a trip for 20 years or 30 or whatever it is. I have to, so it's got to happen. And fuck the man for making it stressful on me. Fuck the man. That's all I got to say about that. I've been watching a lot of Seinfeld lately, so I'm like all George Costanza, dude.
GZ has a good point. You can always do OnlyFans, which OnlyFans is going to probably go out of business now with the AI stuff coming out.
Everything moves, everything progresses and changes, and the tides. There is this whole thing coming with AI where there's going to be some opportunities opened up, and it's going to be at the expense of old guard and other types of jobs. But there's got to be a way to ride that wave because you can't be left behind. There's got to be a way to capitalize on it, but I don't know, man. Mutineer, once they perfect AI, yeah, they can get rid of those pesky employees. Hey, you know what I've said a million times? The American dream for me right now is for my job to lay me off. I would love it because my job, at least for now, unless they fucking just change something, like if they just decide to fucking amend it, our fucking severance is amazing. Our severance is 14 months.
Oh, jeez.
14-month severance. Yeah, fucking axe me right now. So, but I don't, and they've started doing that a little bit this year, but it was like more middle management, middle tier people. I don't think it's going to happen to the people that are, we're a small team, but like we already moved into an era or into an arena where our team is kept small and they started hiring contractors the last few years. So we're working with us and then like always a few contractors. You know what? But the contractors do shit work. They do shit work because they're trained fast and they don't give a shit. Like most of these guys don't really want to pursue a full-time career with the company. So they're just trying to fill the contract and fuck off. And so they're just like doing the fucking bare minimum. And it's so obvious. So I don't know if the reality is they're going to like, hey, let's just go back to all outsourced contractors. Maybe they want that. Maybe they don't. But dude, if they want to do that and mix it with some AI and make the automation in our systems even better, because my job does rely a lot on the human element and the actual analytical stuff, but I think you could totally fucking perfect the automation good enough and keep on a couple of contractors and maybe it'll get there. Pay me, I will fuck off. I will fuck off. I will get a job. I will get a job that is comparable. I'll take even a 10% hit and go work for somewhere else if you want to pay me a fat 14-month salary stack.
It is like that episode of Seinfeld where George tries to get fired from the Yankees and he takes the Babe Ruth jersey out of the case and he started eating strawberries and having them like drop all over it and like staining like Babe Ruth's jersey. Tries to get fired from the Yankees.
Silhouette. Thank you again for the $2. 2 words, Marie Antoinette. Yeah. Slap fight. If only we had politicians that weren't cowards and cared about us and taxed these rich fucks.
None of them care about us.
Yeah, and I'm not even trying to be a Trumper here because the tax situation we're in, from what I read, it helped us for a couple of years, but it was in the documentation that it was going to lower our shit for a couple of years, and then it was going to fucking favor the rich, what we're dealing with now. So, the line's blurring, man. Is part of it Ukraine? Is it the fucking thing Trump signed? It's probably all the above. We're getting fucked every way.
When you're printing money, I mean, inflation's going to skyrocket, so you can't be doing that.
But at the end of the day, it's all of it, dude. It's the fucking pandemic. I've said this before, dude. Do not forgive people for that. People don't fucking let that go. I mean, eventually there's going to be a generation that's in charge that doesn't remember the pandemic. But as long as we're alive and we're breathing, dude, I think people need to be held accountable. These Dr. Fauci's, everybody that was pushing this shit and that put everybody in this situation. Life was fucking good before 2020. I'm not even going to say 2020, 2021. It took a year for it to really affect me, to be honest with you. But life was good a few years ago. It really was. And now it's just changed. Um, all day, every day until you die. Sam Jackson's character in Django Unchained. Yeah, it's depressing, man. I refuse to accept it. Geezer Doctor Forever. You can always do OnlyFans. Yeah, that's what you said. I don't know. Would anybody pay? I'll upload pictures of my crusty feet. You know.
Did you hear about the Boston bomber?
No,
Got
what happened?
he got he got a stimulus check for COVID.
Okay.
Can you believe
Wait.
that in prison, dude?
So was that like a fuck up?
I don't know, dude. That's fucking ridiculous,
No, but
dude.
that's got to be some kind of how he doesn't file taxes in
I
prison.
I don't
He's
know.
been locked up pre-pandemic. So how was he even? Did they like pull some old tax paying documents or something like in
Because
because
you know how everybody got a $1,400 COVID relief. I
yeah,
guess he got sent one.
but that was only to people that had their most recent taxes filed.
I have no idea. I don't know
Yeah,
how.
you had to have filed your previous year's taxes, and if you didn't, you would have to file the current year and the previous year, and then like send something to show them you did. Like they weren't just gonna not give it to you if you didn't pay taxes. So that's weird how he would get that. Um, what did he do with it?
I
Went
don't
to
know.
fucking placed an order at Home Depot to buy a bunch of chemicals and fucking
I,
plastic PVC and shit, dude.
I got it right here.
Boston Marathon bomber. Go, shook enough. Got $1,400 in COVID relief that the feds seek to claim.
I mean, that's a fucking joke, man.
Prosecutors filed a motion seeking funds from Boston bomber, including a $1,400 COVID relief payment in 2001. Acting U.S. Attorney. Oh, the motion indicated that whatever his name is had an account balance of $38.85 as of December 22, 21, including a $1,400 stimulus deposited in June. Prisoners were largely eligible, wow, to receive $1,400 payments included in the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan. Wow, that Biden signed into law last March. Republicans unsuccessfully rallied against allowing inmates to receive the checks at the time, although prisoners were also not excluded for stimulus checks included in the GOP-backed coronavirus aid relief, blah, 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 blah. Wow. I didn't know that. Go down. Prosecutor said that the money in his account should be used as payment towards his outstanding criminal monetary penalties, including unpaid special assessment and restitution. He was ordered to pay $101 million in restitution to victims, as well as special assessment of $3,000. He paid $2,202 so far and 3 cents. What a weird amount. All of which has gone towards the special assessment. That's all he's paid out of all that money. The filing asked the court to order the Federal Bureau of Prisons to turn over the rest of the funds. What does this say? In light of the defendant's payment history and incarceration status, the United States requests that the court enter an order authorizing the BOP to turn over all funds held in the defendant inmate's trust account, including all funds subject to the administrative hold. But so I have a question. Why are they trying to take his money if it was like signed in that prisoners get it? I guess I'm confused, which I think is bullshit. That's
Why
really
would you
weird.
give fucking prisoners COVID money? I
But
mean,
I
that's
know I didn't know that, and that's absolutely just heinous. That's so weird. I don't know, and even if you're gonna do that, maybe I could like make an excuse. Maybe you can almost be understanding. Just don't give it to the fuckers that are locked up for violent crimes and they're in there for good. Like what the fuck, man? But I don't understand. So why are they trying to come after him if it was signed into law that he was due that money? That's
so
what I don't understand.
if you're a felon, you lose the right to vote, but you still get a stimulus check.
But why
How
are
does that
they?
make any fucking sense?
It doesn't make any sense. But why are they? But why are they coming after it if it was signed into bill? Why are they coming after it? That I don't understand.
I don't understand either.
Yeah,
Probably
Ishmael.
because they're getting a lot of backlash or something. I don't know.
What's up, Ishmael? Ishmael's taxes can suck our dikes. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a
It's
bum rap,
crazy,
dude.
man.
All I know is, man, it's not in everybody's best interest, and everybody's not in the right situation to say fuck the man and fuck your jobs. Everybody's got kids, everybody's got different like responsibilities and stuff to pay. I get it. But I think
Let's get into some other topics. This is depressing.
yeah,
Shit.
well, I'm just gonna say this. I think anybody out there that maybe does have some wiggle room to take a little chance and get out, fucking change your life. It sounds like some bullshit guru talk, but it's that old adage of like, you know, there is no fate but what you make. John Connor shit. Like literally, if you're unhappy with your situation, like I am, you got to do something about it. Even if it gets harder and harder, you got to do something about it. So, and I think anybody that wasn't born into money that got money, I think did that. So, you know, just that's
All
it.
right. All right. It's clean.
It's clean.
This is everybody's escape here to get away from the shitty lives.
Yeah. Once a week, 8 o'clock on Wednesdays. Hey, I want to say we were talking about Costanza. Did you watch the last season of Curb?
I haven't watched it yet. I need to get HBO so I can watch Curb this month or this season.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
worth it? Is it worth picking it up for this season? Is it funny or what?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's on par with the last couple of seasons, which I don't think were as funny as the classic seasons.
I loved last season, man.
No, they were no. So yeah, then you'll like it. It's kind of on par. This one has just like the last couple of. It's been really big in the last couple of seasons where there's been an overarching story throughout the whole season. What is it? Last season where he had Mocha Joe's and the Spite store, and you know
is that is that where he wears his Trump hat dude around? Larry David. That's so funny, dude.
This one involves something else, and I think it was solid. It's not my favorite. The last couple haven't been my favorite, but it's solid. It's better than anything else on TV, and I enjoyed it. And there was a couple episodes. There's a couple episodes that have you fucking laughing out loud because they're so fucking. But I gotta say, the last episode I think is great. I think they did it. What they did was clever, and it was satisfying. So I think it's worth it, man. And there's other shit to watch on HBO this month where make it worth your while. So
because I was crying last year. I don't know if you remember the Woody Harrelson episode with the Klansman or whatever.
Oh, and he went to his land, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so funny.
He dumped like coffee or something on the Klansman's robe, and then he took it to a Jewish dry cleaner, and then he made him dry clean it or whatever, or he didn't want to dry clean, so he had to buy him a new one. And then he ended up hanging out with Woody Harrelson, and man, it's just he's hanging out with the Klansman. It's freaking.
There's one bit I gotta say one bit, and I'm not gonna spoil too much, but there's one bit basically in this one he goes to Georgia a lot, and he's in Atlanta, and there's a similar type of bit where he accidentally breaks this person's lawn jockey. They have a lawn jockey. It's this old South, the deep South, right? And it's a black lawn jockey, which is very racist back in the day. And they have it in the and he accidentally breaks it, so he has to go around and try and replace it. And you know, he goes to like this one like vendor or whatever who has him, and he's a black guy, and he's like, I'm looking for he's trying to dance around what it is, and he's like, he needs to be a little bit more. And it's that whole thing like you want to buy a racist ass lawn jockey, and then anyway, that doesn't go right, and he ends up having to buy a white one that looks a lot the same. He ends up like painting blackface on it. It's this whole fucking thing. You know how it goes with Larry David stuff.
He's hysterical, man. I love
yeah. He's really funny. But the last episode's really good, and I think they ended it in a very satisfying note. So yeah, we should watch that. And I couldn't tell you if I like it better than the last couple seasons or not. I think I'd have to just I think I'm ready to binge watch the whole series again now from the start.
I will subscribe this week because I want to watch the whole thing. I was waiting until it finished up, so now that it's finished, I will watch it.
Yeah, it wrapped up like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So okay. Yeah. And then another show I'm watching, guys, and I wanted to wait till it's been getting talked about a lot. When I saw the ads for it, it looked like it was right up my alley, and then I wanted to wait till either the season was done or was almost done, and that's what I've done. And I started we started watching Shogun, that limited series, the FX series.
What's that about?
It's about it's based on this book, based on true eras of feudal Japan in 1600 Japan, and just the Emperor Japan died, and he split the rule to 5 different people to kind of protect people from usurping his heir, who was still a kid. And it's like, he's like, so I know people are just going to come for my kid's head and take over. So I'm going to offer it to you. And he's like, well, if you offer it to me, his like trusted guy, he's like, they're all just going to come from me. He's like, okay, so I'm going to split it into 5 parliament members and split up the land. And it's going to be kind of protect everybody from going for each other's throats because everybody's going to have the same. Anyway, it's a story about that and control. Think kind of like a Game of Thrones type of aspect, you know,
Yeah.
who's going for this fucking dynasty. And it's so good. And I love, it's not going to be a series. It's just a limited 10 episode series. There's no seasons. So I
What did you
kind of
say
dig
this was on?
it's FX, but
Oh,
if
FX.
you have Disney, they now bundle Disney with Hulu, which is great. Now it's
Those.
well if you do have Disney out there, they bundle Hulu with it now, which is smart because they own Hulu anyway. So now you're getting 2 for the price of 1, which does help justify it if you guys pay for it. Because it does have a lot of shit. I'm keeping Disney. I was gonna keep Disney this month because I've been watching X-Men '97, the sequel series to the '90s show that's been
Mhm.
highly talked about for like 2 years now. Actually,
Mhm.
they announced that stuff like back early in the pandemic, and it just kept getting delayed, and it's finally ongoing and it's out now. And I had my hesitations because I was a little iffy on the animation. I'm like, this is supposed to be. It's supposed to pick up right from when the original series ended in '97, like from the last episode, like the next day. But the animation was a little flash game ish. Like I don't, you know what it looks like? It looks just like Metalocalypse.
Mhm.
You know that show, Nathan Explosion.
Yeah,
It looks like
I've never seen it, but yeah, I know what you're talking
you know
about.
the animation that Cartoon
Yeah.
Network, and I'm like, I don't know if I can get behind this, but I'll give it a shot. And then I got used to it, and the writing is so fucking good. Like I love it, man. I'm so obsessed with it. So now it's like Disney's fucking got me for a month, but at least they got Hulu on there because we're enjoying Shogun. And but I recommend it, man. It's really good, and I kind of like mini. I like the fact that there's not like something I have to. I could just get the whole story in like 10 episodes and call it a day. That's great. It's kind of like we watched. What else did we watch? We watched that Yellowstone 1928. You know, because Yellowstone's got all those like
Yeah.
offshoots. Those are not like Yellowstone, the main series with Costner, where there's seasons. They're just 10 episode miniseries, one and done, and those are cool. All right, Catherine O'Hara. If people don't like Beetlejuice sequel, Catherine O'Hara says fuck them. Yeah, she's great. I like Catherine O'Hara.
Well,
Scroll down.
what a way to sell the movie, though. Come on.
You know what,
It's funny. It's funny these producers and these actors are doing this now. It's like it doesn't help you doing this shit, man.
oh,
Just
it doesn't matter. The people are gonna go see Beetlejuice too, and I mean they kind of got me, to be honest with you. Of course, I'm always gonna.
I'm warming up to it. I think it looks pretty solid now.
I
But
I'm always of the mind of like you're better left not touching it. Like why would you touch it? Like why? But if they're gonna fucking do it, the thing is like Warner Brothers or whoever the hell owns it, they're gonna make the fucking movie no matter what. So if they're gonna make their money and they're gonna try and fucking exploit something, at least they got Tim Burton on board. At least they got all the cast member on board that's alive or not, like a diddler. And
it's almost like the Ghostbusters broads, though. I mean, if you don't like this movie, you're sexist. It's
but
like
like
the stupid
no,
shit. Just shut your mouth and just let the movie come out and let people talk about it.
I but we don't know the context and how she said it. She's a funny chick. You don't know. I'll give her the maybe she's that confident in it because she's not talking about the sexism thing like Ghostbusters.
No,
I think
I'm just
if
saying.
anything, maybe she's talking about people that are like, why are you trying to like make a sequel to a classic 35 years
Yeah,
later?
I don't know the context, but
But
yeah.
if they're that confident in the product, and hopefully they're not fooling me, because remember when Sam Raimi and Robert Tapp and all those guys said that about the Evil Dead remake, where they're like, no
Oh,
CGI, no CGI, because this is in the era of like just CGI fucking movies, horror movies,
it's
and it was just
2013, I think, right?
yeah, and
Something like
everything we were getting was like terrible CGI blood, like it hadn't
that.
gotten
Yeah.
honed, and that was one of their big selling points is we're remaking Evil Dead, and it's gonna be brutal, and there's no CGI. I went and see the movie. In the first fucking scene, CGI fire on her head when they're burning the
Yeah,
Deadeye,
yep,
and she's like screaming. It looked like Casper, that movie from the '90s, and I'm
yep.
like, ugh, I got duped. So what they should have said was, look, mostly no CGI, but anyway, so that's what they're doing here is Michael Keaton's the one that first came out and said, yeah, they're doing it all practical. They're doing it just like they did in the old days. They got the fucking guy on the fucking fish line moving around. It's like, okay, but at the same time, he's an actor. How much does he really know what they're going to do in post? Maybe he doesn't really know that much. They might have all that shit on set, but how does he know what all they're going to put in back? But then Tim Burton has doubled down and saying, yeah, we're going legit. It's going legit. It's practical. Which is good because they would know. The thing is most stuff isn't even filmed. Even landscapes are CGI now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's fake. Like this Shogun show is awesome, but I know for a fact we're not looking at like mountains of feudal Japan. We're literally looking at a bunch of actors probably on blue screens or whatever, and it's all fake. Now, granted, the technology has gotten really good with that stuff, where a lot of it is pretty convincing, where you don't really aren't bothered by it. But yeah, I mean, if Michael Keaton wasn't standing on a fucking blue sphere the whole time, and they were really filming where because they rebuilt the house, they went back to the same town, they rebuilt the same house and all the stuff to make it authentic. Yeah, September
Surprised
6th.
it's coming out. I'm surprised it's coming out a little later. I thought it'd be coming out in June or July.
That feels quick to me. I feel like it's coming fast, so I'm cool with it, man. I'm looking
Anything
forward
you
to it.
want to? I mean, summer blockbuster. I mean, it's the tail end of it, but
Go ahead and maximize the screen. Let's watch it real quick.
was that maximized to you?
It's good. Yeah, let's maximize. So I'm I'm not against Jenna Ortega. They're gonna cast some new blood in it and whatever. She's hot right now and it's fine. But it looks like
She's a shitty actress, but yeah, whatever.
no, it looks like Beetlejuice. It's not. It's obviously not shot on film. It's gonna be digital, but it still kind of has the vibe. Look, they redid the set. I think it's cool. Michael Keaton looks like
Michael
old,
Keaton looks good, dude.
but he
I
looks
think he
good.
looks good.
He looks
Yeah.
older, but who cares? He's like a ghost that's supposed to be rotting anyway. It's just like I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do, and hopefully this will be a redemption for Tim Burton, who's been a Disney shill for like 30 years, making just bullshit movies.
Winona Ryder looks like her crusty old self, dude.
I mean, it's cool, and the title's perfect, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, because it opens you up for Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. You know, it's like obviously it's right there on the wall. It's oh, that's funny. That guy's name is Alfred Goff. That sounded like Michael Goff, who played Alfred in the Tim Burton Batmans. Isn't that
Oh
funny?
yeah.
It's kind of funny, but anyway, what was I gonna say? So yeah, Shogun's awesome, and then you got to watch Larry David.
Hey,
What?
I got another one for you.
Yeah, did you guys hear the news about Quentin Tarantino
Hey,
axing his last movie?
that's what I was gonna present. Hold
Go ahead
on.
go and present that. So today, QT announced that he's no longer making the movie Critic. He just scrapped it, even though like I read that they planned to film one day in like June to get a California tax credit, just so they could qualify for a tax credit, and then film the rest starting next year. So he was fairly deep into it. It sounds like, right? The
Yeah.
story, and there was already rumblings about cast and everybody else, and so I wonder what made him just do an about face and just totally, because the
I,
idea seemed fun enough. It seemed like I don't know what his thing was.
well, the fact that they were gonna do recreations of Rolling Thunder, I thought was gonna be cool. So I was looking forward to it.
Yeah,
And
it was
what's his name? Brad Pitt was gonna be in it.
supposedly he was
Yeah,
cast. Well,
which I
and
love
then
Brad Pitt.
that's what they're saying. They're saying so they were saying along the way, the trade says the film morphed into something else with Brad Pitt reprising his role of Cliff Booth. Would have been weird. So I don't know about all that, but it seemed like it was going to be part of his modern suite of films where it's about Hollywood. It's a period piece. It's based on this old movie critic that wrote for Sleaze magazines back when he was a kid. And through that, he was going to be able to tell the lens of these movies being made of the day, but he was going to alter them. It seems like it's totally in line with his last couple of films, right? Kind of in
I
that.
was hoping he'd throw something out of left field and do a horror flick. I mean, that's
I
what I
don't
was hoping
know,
he would do.
but it has me kind of excited because I'm like, why? Why did he just abandon this? Is it because there's something else that's just more pertinent that he thinks is too good to pass up,
If
or
if
is there something else that's just like, dude, this is I have to go out with something even better, and I
if
got this.
Tarantino did a horror film in 2024, it'd probably be the best horror film in the past 20 years, man. At least. I
Oh,
think. I mean, it'd be an instant classic. So I would hope he would do something.
oh, I don't know, but I wonder what the deal is. I wonder if he just wasn't happy with it, or there was studio interference. I would think Sony just fucks off and lets him do what he wants. He made it seem like that he gets free reign, even after he left Miramax because Harvey Weinstein fucking went belly up, and Sony basically became his new distributor. But he always made it seem like they just left me the fuck alone. So if anything, it's just for some reason he's not happy with it, or there's a better idea. But hopefully he gives some insight and sheds some light onto why this is going on. So, not sure.
Well, if it wasn't good enough to be his last film, I mean, the whole thing about him making one more film is stupid in general. I don't know why he doesn't make more films. So,
Yeah,
whatever.
I think it'll be like a Kiss retiring situation where he's going to say it, and if some years go by and he feels like he has something to say, he'll come back. But don't be this guy that's pumping out a film every couple of years or whatever. I don't.
Mutineer says QT can never do horror right. I beg to differ. I think he'd make a slow burn. It'd be very interesting, man. It would be horror for about 20 minutes, and then it would be a good story for the rest of the time.
I just think the idea, as much as I like it for the movie critic, it seems like it fits right in line with his last era of movies. Like they're all a very similar vibe about Hollywood, sort of a lens into real life, but twisting it. So maybe he feels like I got to do something different. Like maybe so because the last few movies he's made is nothing like the early movies, like Jackie Brown, Pulp
Well,
Fiction.
I thought Death Proof had a lot of horror elements to it too. So I think he could really. I mean, that's just me though.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think it means? Do you think it means he's just not happy with it, or you think there's a better idea that came along that he feels is better? And if so, what could it be? Are they finally going to do a Vega Brothers movie? I don't know if you could do that now because John Travolta is noticeably older, and it's like we can't really go back in time with old John Travolta when Vincent Vega's dead.
JT still looks good, man. Don't even talk about him like that.
Whatever. I know you stand hard. You
Stand
go to
hard, yeah. The Gold's Gym.
I have a feeling Riverman would make a point to find out what gym he frequents, and he would make a point to only work out at like 2 in the morning. There you go. You pick that up.
I did.
Hey, where'd you pick it up?
The Kino sale.
So the Kino sale, the last time I saw it, I think it didn't have a slip with it because Kino tells you if it has a slip or not.
They sent one with a slip.
Oh, that I didn't get it. I didn't get it because I'm like, I don't know, I'm not feeling it. But yeah, I just recently watched the movie, so
Hey, I highly recommend this one too. This is a great movie.
I picked it up.
What, did you watch it yet?
No, I've got it sitting on the shelf, like in my view. I've been meaning to watch it all week. I just don't have no fucking time. But it's gonna be the next movie. We got into Shogun, so it's like, and then I'm trying to watch as many of these movies on my new LG,
Yeah.
because I gotta say I haven't been able to watch anything this whole work week because I'm so busy. But on the weekends, dude, I have been having a lot of fun watching some of these old Blu-rays and 4Ks I've seen a million times, like it's brand new on this TV, on the upscale. I know it's kind of basic, but if I don't want to really focus, I watched all the Child's Play movies last weekend, and I've seen those so many times, especially with Mac and Zach, and I've watched the 4K. But I sit here and play guitar, and I turn it on, and dude, even the Child's Play 4Ks, which are not Dolby,
They look good, man. I heard.
they look good on this TV, dude. It's like, dude, these, it took a while to sort of slay the beast and tweak the settings to what I think look great. And once and because I now have an OLED as a monitor, the 42-inch LG C3, and the lighting is crucial, man. I have to keep a backlight in the screen because I noticed if I don't keep a backlight behind the screen, my eyes will just feel it, dude. Like I'm watching this fucking OLED just burn in my fucking face. So, but I've got it perfect. I've got it to where the whole setup is great and I love it. And I just had a blast, dude. I was watching Child's Play 2 and 3 like I had never seen them before. And to me, all I could think about was that to me it was the biggest jump. It was like when I went from DVD to Blu-ray. When I first got a Blu-ray player in like 2011, and I started like watching these movies. I went to like Best Buy and I bought some new movies. I remember I liked the Bryan Singer X-Men, the first two X-Men movies a lot. I remember I went and bought the first two X-Men movies and I was just blown away at my 1080p LED with my my Blu-ray, and I was just blown away at how fucking great like X-Men 2 looked. I was like, "Oh, this looks so amazing." And I haven't had that feeling since. Like not even from Blu-ray to 4 on like a regular TV, but yeah, watching these 4Ks on this fucking OLED, dude, I'm like, dude, it's that feeling again, and I love it because I'm watching all these. I haven't watched any new movies. Because I just going back and watched these. I even watched. I'm watching. I'm using my PlayStation 5, which doesn't have Dolby, but Netflix has Dolby. So I don't know how good that is compared to a 4K with Dolby, but
Yeah, I
Netflix
have no
supports.
idea.
But I was watching shit on Netflix with Dolby, and it looked fucking fantastic. So and I watched even I had to calibrate it for you have to calibrate it for every type of viewing experience. You have to calibrate for SDR, you have to calibrate from when you're watching HDR, and you have to calibrate for Dolby. So even when I would watch just a stand, I watched a standard. The first movie I watched on Netflix, I just popped it in on this new TV, and I watched Happy Gilmore, and it was just standard HD, and it fucking looked awesome.
Hmm.
But it still looked like, it wasn't. It's what you think. It's a movie from the '90s. It's very
Yeah.
grainy. It still looked like Happy Gilmore, but there was something so pleasing about how it looked, and I'm like, man, this looks great. I I just loved it. So now I feel like every day is a fucking new thing. I could watch all these different types of movies, and Dolby's like nothing other, dude. I mean, like, I don't think there's that. I'm obviously limited on like because they have Seinfeld on Netflix. Seinfeld on Netflix is Dolby, and to me, I was watching and I'm like, yeah, I guess this looks like Seinfeld and Dolby, but it kind of like doesn't look as good as on my just standard LED because it's like it just I don't know why that's Dolby, but certain movies are only going to benefit from certain things. But Silhouette, another $5. You're too kind. Did you
Yeah,
see
thanks,
folks?
Silhouette.
Did you see the folks complaining about the upscaling in Raimi's Spider-Man theater re-release? No, I didn't even know he re-released his movies.
I didn't either.
What did he do exactly? What's wrong with upscaling? Are you
Hmm?
talking about like James Cameron bullshit or actual just upscaling? Because I don't see what's wrong with that.
I did have a question for you. So
Yeah.
I picked something up I haven't seen for $10,
Uh huh.
and I picked it up because George C. Scott was in it. Have you seen
Oh,
Hardcore?
hardcore, dude. That's been on my list for so long. No, I haven't. Where he's hunting for his daughter who got
Yeah,
into porn and she got slipped into the ring of porn.
yeah.
Yeah, I want to watch it because I love George C. Scott. I haven't seen it.
That's on the sale. So if anybody's interested, but I haven't seen it, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I
What
think it was like ten
else?
bucks or something. Blu-ray.
No, I didn't. I didn't go crazy with that. I just bought like a couple of titles. I don't remember what else
Why
I
do you get
bought.
the free shipping?
Yeah, I bought the one you recommended, man. What was it called again? The Last
The Last
Castle.
Castle. Yeah,
Which
Robert Redford.
that's next on my list. And what was the and I bought I've been wanting to live and die in LA for the longest time
I
because
got that one too.
I've never seen it. And it always hurt me that there's no slip. There's no slip with it.
They only lasted for like a. I think they only pre-ordered people got them.
And
That's what I heard.
you can get it on eBay for like $50 if you want the slip, but
Who
you know,
cares?
we do, motherfucker. It's a boutique. You want the
For
slip on the
for
boutique?
for Kino, it's not that big of a deal because they're not like specialty or anything.
Dude, you're spoiling us, Silhouette. What's going on, bro? Expect a Shell Cooming tour VHS on B Day and watch the new episode 6 of X-Men 97. How is that? No spoilers, but if you've seen it, is it good? Because I got to say, episode 5 of X-Men 97, for anybody that likes it, was maybe the best episode of X-Men in even the old series. It was so good, man. And I like, dude. I haven't watched. I've distanced myself from all the Disney fucking propaganda, Marvel bullshit for a long enough to where I think I can. I'm trying to still appreciate the IPs because I don't blame the IPs for what Disney has done to them. Just ravaged them. I don't blame Jack Kirby or Stan Lee or any of that stuff because it's like I love those old X-Men cartoons and even the comics and some of those old games. I love it as a property. It's like I imagine how being a Star Wars fan is now. I can only imagine. I don't like Star Wars, but I imagine anybody that was an old school Star Wars fan hates fucking Star Wars now. And
Yeah,
it's not necessarily George Lucas's fault. It's Kathleen Kennedy or whoever the hell it is with Disney that just ran to the mud.
I would love if they came out with a the New Hope or Return and the box set or whatever for 4, 5, and 6 or whatever,
Mm.
like a 4K or something. But who knows if that'll ever happen?
Yeah, Silhouette. So I'll catch it, man. I'm all about it. So if it's anywhere near got some moments like the last episode, I'll probably watch it tonight. Actually, yeah, George ruined it in '99. Yeah, it's his fault too. You're right, Mutineer. He did all that stuff that he did. Um, but it is what it is. Anyway, I'm trying to like just sit back and enjoy. I don't want fucking shit to ruin the stuff I liked. Like we're going. We've talked about it before about like I don't let what studios do and money hungry fucking corporate people do ruin my fun. Hellraiser, I I know they've made shitty sequel after shitty sequel after shitty sequel, but I don't let that taint the original movie that Clive Barker did just because some greedy studios had the rights to fucking exploit it after that. I try and divorce the two and just like, you know what, this movie is on an island. So I think if we can all learn to do that, we'll be a little happier. But anyway, is there any last things we've watched? Oh, really quick. The last thing I'll say, I watched To Live and Die in L.A. Have you seen it?
I haven't watched it. I haven't cracked it yet. No.
I really liked it. And I have to say, it's one of those flicks where I gave it a higher score after after I watched it, I'm like, huh, I don't know how I feel. I liked it. And then like as I literally just laid in bed thinking about it for a couple of hours, I'm like, you know what? What am I talking about? This movie was fucking even better than that. Like it's just a very it's like a deconstruction of like the buddy genre. Because it's got these two cops and these like a buddy cop thing, and it's just nobody's likable, corrupt ass fucking cops. Nobody's funny. Nobody's got any redeeming qualities. But it has one of William Friedkin, so he was really good at having standout suspenseful scenes. If you've seen Sorcerer, the scene in that is when they're trying to drive the fucking truck over that fucking shaky ass bridge in South America that was loaded with nitrogen. So it's like super tense. Like they got to get across this fucking wood string bridge, which Sorcerer, I feel like I'll have to watch again because when I watch Sorcerer, I'm like, this isn't not really hitting for me. I love Roy Schneider. I love the actors. And that one scene was awesome. But the rest of the movie, I'm like, maybe I have to rewatch it. This movie has one of those scenes, but it's like the greatest fucking car chase scene ever. And it's just this long extended car chase scene that's insane. They just don't make them like that. They really don't because everything is like CGI now, but it's insane what they do. And it's honestly, it gets an extra star just for this scene, in my opinion. So
What did you give it?
when I finished watching it, I was like, man, I don't know if this is a 6 or a 7. So I don't remember what I gave it, but then after literally just thinking about it and thinking about that fucking car chase scene, I'm like, I'm giving this an 8. Now I give it an 8 because dude, the whole time, like literally the whole time I was like, maybe this is a 6. Then we got to this car chase scene I was talking about. Oh, like, oh shit, this alone is making it a 7. And then when the whole movie wrapped up and I kind of like broke it all down and really soaked in what I just watched, then it's like, you know what, this is a fucking 8. And it's good. It's not an easily palatable movie necessarily. It's like got a lot to break down, and but I think it's really good. Great performances. William Peterson's great in it. Other than William Peterson, it's like everybody was unknowns, and at the time, Willem Dafoe was an unknown. But I think that's what it got. I think it got a little bit raked through in the press at the time because he had relative unknowns in his film. But now when you watch the movie, everybody in it is like somebody you've seen before. Like
Yeah.
the other, William Peterson, we all know him from Manhunter now, and he was on CSI or whatever, but he's great. And then his partner, literally the only other thing that he was on that show Mad About You. He's Ira. If you guys remember Mad About You, that guy with the big forehead, it's like, it's fucking Ira from Mad About You. How fucking weird. And Willem Dafoe was an unknown at the time, but he's great in it. It's got fucking Daphne from Frasier in it. Like her first movie. So it's got a lot of these people like, now, like, oh, I know that person. But it's good. Watch it, and I'd love to talk about that one with you if you do. And I'll watch The Last Castle too. We can have like an episode where we talk about those.
Yeah, I did watch. You've seen it before, but I watched At Pupil for the first time.
Great
flick! That movie was freaking awesome. Brad Renfro was awesome. Ian McKellen's
awesome.
Oh my gosh, he was fantastic.
And then even in the movie, it's like David Schwimmer shows up. I'm like, oh, why you gotta stink it up, David Schwimmer? But the movie's great.
Was good. But I thought Schwimmer for his role. I mean, Brad Renfro just going after David Schwimmer. I mean, it
Yeah,
was
like yeah,
fucking
holding it over his
hysterical,
head,
dude.
like I got you
Yeah.
by the balls, dude. I like, oh yeah, trying to blackmail him for something he didn't do.
Yep.
So the movie, when I watched this movie like a couple of years ago, and
Mhm.
Zach and I did a cinema enema on it. I made Zach do a
Oh,
cinema.
okay.
I made him do a cinema enema because and when I watched it, I'm like, I had heard about this movie back when it came out in like the later '90s, but that was the extent of it. I know it's based on a Stephen King
Yep.
novella,
Yep.
and it's directed by Bryan Singer, and it
Mhm.
came after Usual Suspects, but before
Yep.
X-Men, so it's like right in the middle of those. Anyway, I finally watched it. It to me was like, where has this movie been?
Yeah.
What is this? This is a lost '90s gem. I just forgot. I just time forgot. Like just nobody cared about it, and it got swept under the rug. But I'm like, this is awesome. And when
Yep.
I watched it, it was one of the best like home viewings I've had in years because those kind of movies are really rare now. Because that it kind of reminded me when I was a kid, where every time you turned on Cinemax at night before streaming,
Mhm.
you would stumble across a movie that maybe came out when you were younger that you just really that maybe didn't do well in the box office, so it just was under your radar, and you'd watch this movie on Cinemax like that movie's cool. I've seen all these movies now, so whenever I come across one of these movies that I legit just missed, and it's like how do it's a special feeling, man.
And
So
I saw the ending as a kid, but I just realized it as I was watching it. And I was like, "Man,
you didn't know that's what it
I've seen this
was.
shit before." Yeah, absolutely.
It's so good. I would 100% get a 4K of that. Somebody put it
That's
out.
it's fucking it's really it's a very interesting story, man. I was
Yeah, the the guy really influenced in interested in Nazi Germany and the Holocaust on a historical level, and you find out just
he
so
blackmails a
happens.
Nazi,
Yeah, you just so find out that this crotchety old man in your neighborhood is a fucking Nazi in hiding because I think it takes place what in the '80s.
Mhm.
So he's much older. This would have been 40 years after the war, maybe a little less, and because that was the case, these guys would disperse and they were
Hide out in the States,
they were
yeah.
fugitives. A lot of them went to like what Venezuela and shit like that in South America, and it's just a fascinating story that this kid, through his fascination interest, uncovers who this guy really is, and he's kind of blackmailing him, but he just wants to learn.
Yep.
He's like, I want to learn. And he's starting to get really into it. Like, I want to learn all the details. It's really, it becomes a point where the kid is crossing a line where it
Yep.
starts as like
His
interest.
mindset kinda
And then he
changed
starts
into
becoming almost kind of, there's that point concerning to the fucking Nazi where it's
yep,
like, you're crossing a line. It's fascinating. Great
yep.
ending. Everything about it's awesome. So, Silhouette Hammer, thank you again so much. Commentary recommendations: Scooby Doo live action movie. That's definitely something Mac and Zach have to be a part of because I feel like that's a them movie. Monkey Bone, same. See previous comment. I'll do it. I'll watch Chris Kattan movies and suffer.
I'll watch Monkey Bone, and that's the only one I watch of that. Well,
Toy Story 1 through 3. That's an interesting one to break out something Disney and Pixar. I have a soft spot for the first few Toy Story movies. Because
they're fine.
yeah, says the guy that fucking loves trolls. They're fine.
I'd rather watch Trolls because they have music in them.
God, Trolls is fucking insufferable, dude. I had to watch the first one because my lady likes to watch that stuff every now and again. I'm like, yeah, I'll watch Trolls or whatever. And I'm like, this is fucking insufferable. It's really bad.
It's bad, but
Trolls
still.
is bottom of the barrel fucking animation. And I was like, this is what Todd has reduced himself to? And Toy Story 1, 2, and 3 are just fine. Okay. Anyway. Home Alone D plus remake with the Brit Brat Inspector Gadget movie. Oh, Inspector
Oh,
Gadget movie.
man, Silhouette.
Yeah, you're really hitting us hard with a lot of Disney, aren't you? Sissy. And Scooby Doo live action. Yeah, we'll have to. I'll take a screenshot of that and I'll put it on the list. I know we have a few things we have to get to, and we got to be doing a commentary here real soon. So I'll bring that to the table for sure. But anyway, let's wrap things up. Is that a spam comment? Hold on. Yeah, shut up, promotion bot. Yeah, thank you guys, everybody. Thanks, Silhouette. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Mutineer. Thank you. Where are you, Ishmael? Thank you, Geezer. Thank you. Where's my boy? Where's my boy Molester? Thanks, everybody. And if you guys were quiet and watching the stream. Hopefully, you at least liked it. Give us a like right now while we're still on. If you watch the show next week when it goes live or posts for everybody, like it then. Subscribe to the channel. Help us out.
Throw some
Uh,
comments. I mean, it seemed like last week's episode people actually really liked it. So
Yeah, comments help. Dude, I got to make more shorts because the shorts are on fire. So we actually had some pretty good growth really quick. It's, the last month, as long as there's growth, it's whatever. We had like
yeah.
40 to 50 subs in the last 28 days. I'll take it, but they all came from shorts. They all came from shorts.
Mm.
None from the long form. You
It's a
know,
TikTok generation, man.
yeah, I mean, like I've released like three shorts in the last month, and they've all been in the thousands. And every one of them, I've gotten 5 to 10 subs from them, just like bam, 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 bam. So, I got to keep that up. But hopefully, you guys are sticking around for the long form content because this is what we like to do. But we'll catch you guys later. Feel free to follow us other places and socials, and if you want to support us, we have. I almost said OnlyFans because that's somebody was saying that earlier. What is it called? What's it called?
Hmm?
Not
Rumble?
no, not Rumble. Not OnlyFans. Where can they support us?
Patreon?
Patreon. God, you guys got OnlyFans in my head. I've got like the wheels are turning. Like, what can we do on OnlyFans? And then yeah, Twitch, all that good stuff. But we love you regardless. Have a great one.
Uh,
What?
real quick before we wrap up. Next week, are we going to be going back to the original
We're
format?
going back to the format. I wanted to go back to it this week, but then we had the
It's
great
been crazy this month, man.
we had
after
the great purge of my office. So I've been working and then I started a new workout routine because I got to get back into shape, man. And I'm just like working all the way until I got to do this workout. Then I'm doing that, and I just didn't have any time. I barely had time to eat today. But next week, I promise, it's my turn. Technically, I had to go back and look because I forgot who we left on. But it's me, so we're gonna go back to the normal format, and then we'll have fun and games for you guys next time.
What about the whole exploitation month? When you want to be doing that?
Let's cleanse our palate further a few weeks,
Okay,
and
so
then
May or June.
May might be fun, but we'll come to that. Maybe we want till June. We'll figure it out. But
Okay.
yeah, it'll be May or June. But that'll be Todd's really holding us to that.
Yes, we told them, and they were
I
excited about it.
I
So
would
yeah.
love to do it. So we'll see if May works because it
Okay.
might. Maybe what is it today? That only leaves us like one or two basic episodes. We might need till June. So we'll see.
Okay.
But anyway, we'll catch you on the flip side, and we'll keep you guys posted. Adios. Bye bye. Oh, I missed your fuck. Sorry. I'll cut the episode there, but I forgot to read your super chat, Silhouette, because
Sorry, Silhouette.
you got it in right at the buzzer. So the episode's over, but let me read that. The stream's still going on. I'll figure out something before September. Have a good one, dude. Yeah, no worries, dude. Thank you so much for all you did a lot of donating, man. And again, you don't have to do that. It's always appreciated. We really love the boosts, and we can always use the support, and we're glad you guys keep doing that. But by all means, man, if you guys got your own bag. I just went on a tirade about talking about how the economy's crushing everybody. So don't feel like you have to do that stuff, but we definitely love it and appreciate
Yeah,
it. So
always appreciate it.
all
So
right.
yeah, thanks.
Well, bye-bye for real, guys. Adios.